So I've tried this in a different take, and my handwriting is so sloppy because I write it down right after I wake up. Well, I did in 2016, and so it's like so we're gonna try this again, and I'm gonna like really try not to stumble over my words and try to read correctly. I will be changing names in some of these, but not all of them, to confuse the public, so might be a real name, might not be. Here we go. Well, today during my 45-minute nap, I had a dream that I ran over like 4 puppies with my car. The end. I had another dream that the Grace and UNO campuses were literally on the same plot of grass, like they were so close, but there was a shooting on the roof of UNO, and for some reason, that's where we parked our cars. So we were all freaking out a little bit, but Bartholomew, Sally, and I were going around campus checking on and praying for people. We were wrapping up and I was getting something from my car, and I saw like 6 of the shooters sneaking around, and I was like, oh my goodness, they're not done. So I ran down to where Bartholomew was saying goodbye to a guy he was just comforting, and I was struggling to get words out, and was like, okay, you know the guys who were shooting earlier? And he wasn't sure what I was saying for some reason, and I was like, they're not done. And suddenly we hear, please, I have a family, and we run the other direction, and then I was shot in the neck, and I could literally feel it in my dream. And I was laying there dead, and there was a weird Snapchat text next to my body that I couldn't read before I woke up. And when I woke up, I could feel pressure on the side of my neck where the bullet entered. What? Okay. The end. Last night I had a lot of dreams, but I only remember small parts of 2. We're gonna read the last one. I was driving home from somewhere in my green minivan, back when I drove a green minivan, but I had to check and make sure a criminal wasn't hiding in the back seat. The end. Okay, I don't know why I just read that. Okay, pointless. We're gonna read the good ones. Last night, in my hotel bed, I had a dream that like most people my age that I hang with, plus my sisters, were servants. And they were being bossed around by rude, snooty, rich people. So I got fed up with it and screamed at the rude people and set them straight. The end. I've always been like super high, like I just want justice. And if authorities abusing their authority, I'm going to tell them, and I don't care. Okay, last night I had a dream that Rebecca was driving around a charter bus of our friends, and she was making it swerve and spin, and I was like, Rebecca, you can't drive this way with a bus. Please slow down. And it was actually a very long and detailed dream. But I don't remember too much about it. Goodbyes were involved, and so was throwing dirt clumps from the street to the grass. Oh, and a car rolling out of the driveway and into another because of the brakes malfunctioned. And something about a family, and something was bad, but I just can't remember. The end. So I'm now part of the #college life, and I've had so many bizarre dreams. But last night in particular, I remember having a dream about 2 spiders. They looked weird, and they were all over the place. The end. Oh my goodness. Last night I had a dream that I was with a few people at the pool and someone puked in it, and I wanted to avoid all the water at all costs. So I got out and I walked around the pool and then involuntarily fell right into the vomit. The end. Last night I had a really long dream that morphed into many different things along the way. I was playing a really intense, dramatic game of tag with Lexi at some random park. It changed into a bunch of us youth, but that's when this is from 2016, but including my parents in a school building in a locker room peering out of a small window in the door to a classroom. For some reason, there were 2 felons in there holding giant swords menacingly pointed at the teacher. All of us in the room ran outside as fast as we could before they called a code red. Then the dream was me running from bad guys and murderers through a hotel, and it involved elevators, and it was particularly stressful because I had to lead worship at church, which was inside the hotel I was running through, and I could hear the music going, but 1, I was running from murderers, and 2, even if I could make it on stage for half of the last song, I was wearing sweats. Then my alarm went off as I was like, maybe I could sing from backstage with a microphone, like Hannah Montana style. The end. So, picture the rope balls for that 1-yard toss game. I had a dream that my church crew, when I do this, it's like parentheses, and I don't know what, it's fine, okay. was chilling in the middle of nowhere on a wide dirt road with overgrown grass fields surrounding us. For some reason, all of the guys had ping pong paddles and were hitting around one of those rope balls really high with the paddles. Someone ended up passing it too high, and it, similar to how it does in the yard game, wrapped itself around one of those wires that go above the streets for electricity, which was for some reason extra thick, and then it started sparking, and a red gas started coming from it, and it smelled terrible, and we knew we needed to run. And then it became like a battle scene, and all of us were running through the fields of dead grass, and we were running over unidentified, passed out bodies. And then we reached an abandoned playground behind an abandoned brick building about 0.5 miles away. And we just kind of sat there terrified. And none of our cell phone services were working, and we didn't know where we were, so we had to send up SOS signals to helicopters. Then the dream shifted, and we were all safe somehow, and we decided to go to a high school's homecoming to keep an eye on my sister, who was on a date for the first time ever. The end. I had a dream that my sister was in a checkout line to buy a $990 pot for plants, and the plants that she was gonna buy were like $350, and I was like, Molly, this is an awful decision. This is so much money down the drain. And she was like, I don't care. And then I found out she was doing it all to impress the people of her gardening club party. Sounds like a thing that she would do. Okay, the end. Last night, I had a dream that I was like outside chilling with a couple people from Grace, but the scene was one my brain made up, like it was on a hill, and down one side of the hill there were places for sports and recreation, and down the other side was like 7 basketball hoops, and beyond that was a forest, and I was on top of the hill with like 2 people, and we were looking into the forest and saw some really creepy shadows, and then we saw 2 giant black dudes. And the giant black dude I was hanging with on the hill was like, no one knows those guys. If no one here will tell them to leave, not even God will. LOL. So then I sprinted down the other side of the hill, past the tennis courts, into the parking lot where my dad and sister happened to be, and made my dad take me home. And then I got home, and it was a super creepy house. But then when I got to my room and texted my friend about the experience, he was sending me cool pictures of creepy half-human, half-animal skeletons. I remember they were like half turtles. I don't know why I didn't clarify that here, but I remember he had found, which only made the situation worse. And I was like, please. And it continued. The end. Here is this entry. There were so many cats. Sounds about right. So there's that one. The end. I had a dream that there was a worship team bonding hosted at my house, and worship leader wanted to watch the Michigan game on my TV. Even though I don't have cable, and my TV turned into the size of the wall, and then my alarm woke me up. The end. I had a dream about a pool. The end. I had a dream that someone proposed, and I said yes for the ring because it was gorgeous, but I was planning on breaking it off. Wow, that's horrible. I had a dream I was working at Walgreens, and my mom was a co-worker of mine, and our station was supposed to close at 8 p.m. But we were so busy because of this one old guy that we closed at 9:30 p.m. But we had mini bite-sized cupcakes to eat, so it was okay. This guy, random person from my high school, walked by and said hi, and we freaked out and hugged, and he called me by some nickname my brain made up in the dream, but I knew it was an old inside thing we used to have. And he was like, oh, remember when you and this girl would call this guy your child? Which was weird because none of us knew that person. Like, so side note, like, it's fine, none of these people actually knew each other that I'm referring to. And then I started walking home from work, and I passed by a certain high school's bus stop, and I saw my sister, and I was confused, and then because she was homeschooled, and then I saw this other guy, and he decided to talk to me as we walked home, and then all of a sudden he was on a skateboard going so much faster than me, so I started running, and then he put me on the skateboard and started pushing me down the sidewalk. The end. There's a lot of dreams that I just like crossed out. Okay. I had a dream I was visiting my high school to watch a show choir rehearsal, and it was odd because part of my graduating class was in it, and so I was really fat. But anyway, everyone and everything was in black and white except for this girl who actually passed away my freshman year, who was extremely vivid and almost glowing, and she had aged with the rest of us, and her hair was so long and beautiful, and she had her braces off, and she was smiling and laughing as usual, and people wearing blue stood out faintly from the black and white, but not near as much as Anna. And even though I felt joy slightly at first, I knew the dream wasn't real, so I bawled my eyes out to a certain person and could feel the sadness in my heart. The end. Dang. Man, those deep dreams get me every time. I had a dream that there was a huge obstacle course and there was Zoolander trivia at the top. And once you climbed the mountain to that point, you would zip line back down and climb back up to answer another question. The end. I had a dream about a jungle gym thing, think McDonald's or Burger King, that I've dreamt about many times before, but I've never been to or seen in real life, and I was wearing a super scandalous skeleton costume. You could see a lot. The end. I had a dream that I was just chilling in my underwear at home when suddenly the tornado sirens went off, so I had to get dressed, and then for some reason I packed an overnight bag so I could die any second, and then I rushed downstairs and called my cat to the bathroom, and we all lived happily ever after. The end. I had a dream that I went to a nail salon with my mom. The end. I had a dream that 2 people, very random people, were puking by some trees. The end. I had some strange dream about shutting lots of doors, and the unsaid understanding was we were keeping the devil out. Shut the door, keep out the devil. Shut the door, keep the devil in the night. That one. The end. Okay. I had a weird dream again about tornadoes where the public was being destroyed by small clumps of very dark gray falling clouds that were as destructive as if they were solid. Ooh, this one says viewer discretion is advised. I'm so sorry to whoever sees these next few dreams. Ooh, one was crossed out. I'm scared. I had a dream that I was entirely in the nude, that I had a small towel to sort of cover myself. But I was a driver, not of a vehicle, but of a blue wagon with some type of motor, and I was driving people around neighborhoods. At one point, my towel slipped off, and everyone saw everything, but I just kept doing my job. Then this younger boy said something to his father about this being why he takes public transportation, and then his father scolded him. What? Okay. I had a dream that this random guy went psycho during a friendly game and tried to kill me. So I hid in a shower until the game was over. There was a window on the door that I could see all of them through, and then a random person went up to it and sympathetically said, "Good job, Hannah," then left. Then I went and retrieved my flip-flops that got stuck in some mud. And all of this was indoors. The end. I had a random dream that people from my past in Oklahoma were at Grace University, and they were all lined up to hug me. And then I hugged this guy who passed away, who was my best friend's dad, and cried so much because I knew he wasn't actually alive. I felt the same heart pain then as I do when I have Anna dreams, which is about the girl who was alive in the show choir. So random. I had a dream that I was basically in the Emperor's New Groove. There were llamas and I think also goats, and there was an action-packed scene with the water and the log and stuff. Apparently, I had a goat, and I told my partner, plug its nostrils and go. The end. I had a very stressful dream that I was unable to pull up the Grace Library database for a student. I was a librarian for 6 months. No, 4 months. And I guess I had stress dreams about it, so it's fine. I had a dream that I had 2 cutie clementines. I put the little trademark cutie, trademark thing. Both big. I offered one to a friend thinking they'd take the smaller of the 2, so when they reached for the big one, I flipped out. Oh, and these were big, the giant. Then as I was about to dig into the big cutie, I realized it was bigger than my body. So I was reaching way up to peel off huge slabs of peel, and someone in the background was like, what if there are bugs and spiders in there? But I kept going because one bite of that massive thing would be a flow of magical tasting juices. The end. Long time no see, I said. November 16th, 2016, even though it had only been 8 days. I should really get back into this. I had a nap dream that my mom was having a heart attack and she was trying to ignore it, so she was continuing her day as if nothing was happening, but I couldn't stop crying and hugging her. Wait, not the end, even though I said the end. I texted her about it right after. The next day I was home and she came home from the doctor and told me that an hour before I texted her, so during my nap, she had been driving when suddenly her heart palpitated and she almost passed out. And she was wearing a light blue shirt like in the dream. So she told my dad what I told her and he said she's very in tune with God right now. I would go to the doctor. So she did. She's getting a heart monitor. Luckily, nothing came of it, but crazy stuff. We shall resume in a moment. Oh my! No, please. Stay. Okay. Actually, this happened 5 days ago, and it wasn't even really a dream. But I went to bed at like 9:45. This was in the dorms. And then my roommate came in at 1 a.m., so in my sleep I sat up and I looked at her and asked if it was morning. Cool. The end. I wrote, last night I had a super long, stressful, and vivid dream that, and proceeded to cross out the entire thing, so that's nice. I had a dream that the squad all went to Disney World, which was some odd cross between a zoo and an arcade. Chester, Barbara, and I all decided to scale part of one of the exhibit walls and do handstands and stuff and pose for pics. After a long day there, we were gonna return home via airplane. Our airplane is above a giant body of water when suddenly the engine stops and there's like 3 seconds of silence and shock before we feel the plane start to go down. We all looked at each other and said, frick, we're about to meet Jesus, and started praying really hard. And then as the plane was falling, and then started praying pretty hard as the plane was falling. Then the engine started working again and we were relieved, but then 2 seconds later it started plummeting. We all started shouting in tongues, and just as the nose of the plane started going into the water, it took back off in flight. So we ended up not dying. The end. I had a nap dream that I was on a long investigation to stop some guys from planting car bombs in various parking lots. I had to follow them at night on some really curvy roads. One of the bombers was my friend. The end. Oh, okay. Last night I had a dream that we took my cat, Baby, all the way to Missouri. She was calm in the car. We were walking around nature like we do at my cousin's house, and I was talking to my deceased cat, Chase, who was speaking English back. I warned him to not go to a certain place because he would drown or something, and was super discouraged because Baby couldn't understand or speak to me, so I couldn't warn her not to go there and she could die. Also, my aunt and cousin made a slightly smaller replica of Noah's Ark in a bigger room in their house. The end. About a week ago, I had a dream where I dramatically performed an exorcism on a baby. The end. So I'm in Oklahoma and I snoozed my alarm a lot this morning, and apparently after my first alarm I woke up enough to write down key parts of my dream that I could expand on later, but I don't know what to do at all with speakers, segways, butterfingers, sisters, babies. The end. Gotta get those lips. There's a whole group of people walking down the sidewalk. I haven't seen people in so long. There's 4 whole people. Oh my goodness. There's 2 girls, a dad, and a little boy. Hello. Okay. Whoa. Let's continue. I had a dream I got bangs. The end. I had a dream about the absolute fastest roller coaster ever. The end. I had a dream that Stuart wrote me a 54-page letter. I kept trying to count all the pages before I realized that they were numbered like a book. The end. I had a dream that random person no, just kidding. I had a dream that Sean and Jefferson both worked at a coffee shop. I wrote coffee shop. Okay. And a group of us went to visit them and they were making weird Christmas treats. and having people lick them off spoons. This girl kept singing opera with no regrets for what the staring strangers in the shop thought. The end. I had a dream that a grumpy... I have to reassign a name. I had a dream that a grumpy Heather puked in a big, well-lit house. Then Ariel and Melissa got a cold and told me to drink a women's tea to prevent catching it. The dreams seemed to all connect, but next I was at a campus that was called Grace, but didn't look like it. I was moving out of West Dorm into East Dorm, but all of my stuff was being moved by spirits. It was helpful, yet creepy. There were sketchy, dark halls and stairwells involved with red lights. I had a dream that I had roller skates on, and I was on some street in Oklahoma that is super sloped, and there was heavy traffic coming both ways, and I didn't want to not be able to stop and die, so I took forever, and kids on bikes were passing me, but I finally made it to a point where I could skate along on a flat surface at the pace of the cars, which, by the way, were driving Europe style. The end. What? I had a dream where every day I would go to Dairy Queen and order grilled pepper jack and ham sandwich. A grilled yeah. This lasted for 9 days, and the lady who worked there could never remember my usual, but some new chick on her first day knew my order. After some sass, Paige comes in, and while many people plus my family could hear every word, she says inappropriate things, plus talks about boys. There's nowhere in the whole place we can sit without being heard, so I just give up. The end. I had a dream that Granddad was gonna drive my mom and I in my car, and there are rare gems in my door. The end. Molly? What? What? Do you want to come in? Welcome to my video.
Hello.
Hello everyone. We interrupt this program to bring you a special performance by my sister, who has made an appearance in these dreams several times.
What?
I'm reading my dream journal.
Awesome. Also, you're like having just chilling in the background, showing it off like a bee.
Yes,
a walnut.
This is the shade.
The shade of Hannah's skin in the summer.
Well, I was just gonna say like no tea or something like. Okay, so she's gonna crack this walnut.
All right, don't know how I'm going to. Can I use your hydro
Sure.
flask? All right, cool.
What are you gonna do with this walnut?
Eat it if it's not moldy, because it's from like 2 years ago.
Do walnuts get moldy?
I have no idea. Let's see. Here we go.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
It's not happening. Is this real?
I think so. It's plastic. It's from Uncle Phil.
Oh, I hear it on the inside.
I'm gonna get a hammer.
No! Okay, well, don't hit it on here. This is Mom's sewing table.
Right. Well, if you still want this to be in the video, we could take it down to the deck.
Okay.
Here we go.
Dun 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 dun.
Ooh. Ah, my eye.
Whoa! Did it hit you in the eye?
No, it hit me on the head.
Whoa, okay.
Wow. Ooh.
So many walnuts.
Save it.
Wow, okay.
Looks like you could put that on a pie.
Let's make a pie.
Okay.
Oh no, I broke it.
What
and
have
now
you
it stuck
done?
to my finger.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
All right.
Well,
That's awesome.
that's all for today's show. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
Ew.
I had a dream that Zaboomafoo, Greg, myself, Kelsey, and Hannah were all doing weird things in public, and a little girl with a cool accent talked to me. And if it was swimsuit season, and we had a code red at a school because a guy committed suicide a couple blocks away at the end. What? Okay. I had a dream I was back in high school, and over the intercom system they announced that there would be a free evangelism class in room 101, which was my AP Lang class, aka my most hated class of all of high school, and I would need to ask my AP Lang teacher if I could go. Well, my dream self also hated this teacher, so I was walking down the hall and I could see him standing in the distance, waving his class to the classroom he had to move to, but I watched him get angry with me as I turned left to enter the evangelism class instead of going to him. The end. Wow. I had a dream that swing cats, oh wait, no. I had a dream that my show choir reunited and ran through our show. The end. I had a dream I was playing a mini golf game with my sister Emma, and it was in a hotel. We were on the second floor and I was winning slightly. I finished the hole and asked if the last hole was in the third floor, and she lied and said she didn't know. I won, by the way. The end. I had a dream that the church crew was watching Elf. Buddy was a giant and he got very graphically decapitated, therefore sending one of my friends, David, into a fit of uncontrollable vomiting. Cool. I had a dream that these are all names I can't say and I'm not creative enough. John, Jacob, Jinkelheimer, and Schmidt were in a video for church. Jacob had a bad haircut and was reading while driving. Schmidt and Jinkelheimer were wearing their usual banana costumes. The end. Okay, I had a dream that the youth group I served in was at an outdoor water park. I told Tommy I can cook really well, and he starts, as a reaction to my statement, joyfully singing, "Go the distance, I will find my way, I go the distance, dun, 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 dun." Yeah. He gets to the end with the really long note. Long. Oh, there's bikers. Oh, yes. Good job, people. And holds it for 30-some counts when suddenly Levi, very annoyed by the noise, runs up the water park bridge where Tommy is belting and uses 2 fists, punches Tommy right in one cheek to shut him up. Picture it. So he's singing here. Belong. That's how it was. 2 fists. I don't know why. The dream shifts over to Bart, way up at the top of the water park in a little tower like a princess, asking me to ask Sasha if he can leave time out yet. She says because he asked, and through another person, he gets even more time up there. The end. I had a dream I was watching Tarzan grow up in the jungle. Then I learned how to swing from vines. Then the scene shifted from a jungle to a park where my cousins were chasing me through the playset. It was stressful. The end. I had a dream that my UNO classmates were asking me questions such as evolution versus God. The end. I had a dream I opened a box of frosted Cheerios and only sugar and broken Cheerios and dust was left. Tragic. The end. I had a dream that some of my homies had taken care of and preserved this perfectly square ice cube for 4 months, and it snowed a lot one day. We made a big snowball and set the cube on the snowball to keep it chilled, but the sun was actually deforming it. We tried to reshape it with our fingers, but it only melted it more, so basically the perfect ice cube was dead. My mom had no advice to offer to me in this stressful time. The end. Last night, I had previously hung out with this one person who wouldn't stop farting in real life. So my brain dreamed that I was spooning with this person, and I was the big spoon for some reason, and I was like, you better not fart. The end. I had a dream that a bunch of us were in some weird city, and there was a great wall made out of giant tote bags, 2 totes wide. So Craig, all of my names are like the same. To my left, I had a dream I opened a box of frosted Cheerios and only sugar and broken Cheerios and dust was left. Tragic. The end. I had a dream that some of my homies had taken care of and preserved this perfectly square ice cube for 4 months, and it snowed a lot one day. We made a big snowball and set the cube on the snowball to keep it chilled, but the sun was actually deforming it. We tried to reshape it with our fingers, but it only melted it more, so basically the perfect ice cube was dead. My mom had no advice to offer to me in this stressful time. The end. Last night, I had previously hung out with this one person who wouldn't stop farting in real life. So my brain dreamed that I was spooning with this person, and I was the big spoon for some reason, and I was like, you better not fart. The end. I had a dream that a bunch of us were in some weird city, and there was a great wall made out of giant tote bags, 2 totes wide. So Craig. All of my names are like the same. To my left, we stepped over the walls of hundreds of tote bags in this tote bag wall. Each bag was filled with some sort of food item, but we reached the end and they were filled with giant feminine products. Then we were like, we finally made it. Let's head back. Here's a diagram. What? Okay. It was literally a bridge constructed out of tote bags, I say. So here is a view of it. There's us climbing, tote, side view, us. It says me, tote height compared to body. Oh, so the totes went up to my like belly button. Great. Okay. The end. I had a dream that the driver of whatever car I was in ran full force into the car, stopped at the stoplight in front of us. The end. I had a dream I was on a bus with a lot of people. Tiffany next to me, and we missed our stop. We are informed that there won't be another stop until the middle of Iowa, and we are the only 2 passengers on the bus. Now, it's night time, and we finally stop in the middle of the night and get out at a gas station. Creepy guys try to take us, so we call 911 and get saved after a long delay, but hey, normally my fingers can't dial on phones in dreams, so that's a step up at least. The end. Does anyone else have like dreams where you're trying to call 911 and like you type like 912 or 916, like you're like just like, yeah, all the time for me. So cool. I had a dream about walking to the zoo. Also, that my neighbors gave me a lasagna supply that would last me through my entire college career. The end. I had a dream that the church pals and my sisters and I went to Oklahoma. My parents dropped us all off and continued on to Missouri. The cops were trying to pull Tommy over, but Tommy doesn't pull over. The cops get distracted and drive past us, but then a fake cop pulls us over and robs us. Then we have to flee the state. I took my sisters and left without my friends. The end. The following dreams are from the next months where I lost this journal and typed them in my phone. Then I went a year without documenting anything at all. Dream. On a mission outside, scary camo guys raid camp. We lay down in tall grass, expelling smoke above us, going through a playground as fast as possible. The end. I was in a house alone with an old man, but I was a boy, and he was being creepy, and I knew he would do something bad to me, so I ran out of the house without explanation and drove home. The end. My cousin got pregnant by sitting down naked in the wrong place. The end. I performed an exorcism with my friends over a children's book. Baby! Baby, baby, baby. Come in. Yeah, come in. Thank you. Hi. Lecture hall, the size of a concert. Announcing biology grades. I got called out for a good one. Someone random got an 82%. Thomas got an 88%. The end. Aww. Hanging with Madison, asking how heaven is. The end. I always have dreams about like the people in my life that have passed away, and it's kind of comforting. Oh, when I do this, my door moves. Good to know. Baby, do you want in or out? Get out of here. Oh my goodness, this is the best dream yet. I pooped out a miniature-sized hippo-shaped poop, and it had all the details like toes and a face and everything. The end. It was a little poop hippo, like probably that big-ish. It was cute in the dream. I don't know how I did it. I got to the church around 5:20, and Bob and some others were in the prayer room, and I was out by the tall tables and the stairs, and Bob was wanting to tell me a story from where he was, but people were distracting, so we sent it in all emojis, and it was so easy to understand. It was that they played paintball in a high school, but purple paintballs looked green because the paint wasn't easy to see how it really was, because everyone was colorblind to the paint. The end. My uncle cussed in front of His daughter, who was actually his son, and cousins were wearing blankets as clothing. The end. I met Trump and showed him a single Lego brick and told him it was his wall and had him poke it for a picture. The end. Jackie and I snuck into this family's roof, onto the roof, and we snuck through a window to find Girl Scout cookies and take them. Our getaway car was my mom driving the green minivan. I'm fast enough, but my friend gets caught. The end. At a fancy place, I was talking into a microphone that went over all the speakers, and I started being hyper and crazy, and people were staring. I was like, we should leave. People were going to the elevator and limiting who got on. They kept one girl off, separating her from her friend group, and in her thick accent, she said, no, they'll deport me. So she got on, but something wrong happened, and the elevator stopped and then caught on fire. It was also storming really bad outside. The end. At a park, a slide with a swing on it, I swung too hard and almost flipped over. The end. At worship team practice, David was impressed by my super chick lyric knowledge and my stash of Justin Bieber songs as I was peeing on a trash can. The end. I was at an intersection and I see my cousin hopping down the median, and I rolled down my window to ask what he was doing, and he said, hopping to work. The end. And the hop was like this. He was like, so there's that. Running from a lady in a building as a horse. I was running from a lady in a building as a horse. I was a horse. I was hiding from life in the boys' bathroom, pretending to poop. Having to sign out of the bathroom and seeing Amanda used it in June of 2016. Robin Williams saw me in there and said, Anna and I were and are beautiful people. Because Robin Williams is dead too, and that implied that he met Anna in heaven. Why? The dream started off as me running away as a horse. Abby's dream. I wrote down my friend's dream because it was so funny. So she had a dream about a sea of ETs while she was cowering naked under a kitchen chair after climbing down a yellow slide. I don't get it either. And I had a dream that I was at the hospital for Molly and President Bush gets assassinated at the hospital, and I'm casually drinking a beer. And a manhunt is happening. Okay. Great. It says next page to start current dreams. And that's it. I didn't even date that. That was probably sometime in 2017, 2018. Here we are. Thank you for watching. That was a journey. This is an explanation as to why I am the way that I am. So, thank you. Have a nice day. Let me know if you want to see or hear more of my dreams in the future. I'll start writing them down. Okay. Goodbye. I decided to insert some sleep talking recordings too, because not only is all of that going on in my brain, but I am communicating things as well. So, enjoy. Alright, is that an octopus? Or a spider? Oh, that's a giant spider. TBA, do it, temperance. Oh, so much. Okay, it's a nice match. Thank you. Gross, gross, fry. He's just gonna keep caring all day long. As much as I can. Okay. I don't wear hair. Never have, never will. Don't go there, never have. Don't